Now, in the last hour, America's chief law officer has described the death of the black teenager Trayvon Martin as tragic and unnecessary, and confirmed that the Justice Department is continuing to investigate the case. Yesterday, the man who shot him, George Zimmerman, was cleared of murder in a Florida court, sparking angry protests across America. Live now to our Washington correspondent, Matt Frei. Matt, the latest.
Well, the latest are that there have indeed been some protests. There were some scuffles in LA. There was quite a large demonstration in Times Square in New York. But this is not what we saw, for instance, in 1992 after the acquittal of LAPD officers who had beaten up Rodney King, a black man, and we had the LA riots. This is not even what we saw last year after the killing of Trayvon Martin on the streets of Florida and indeed many other American cities. And it puts the administration into a bit of a quandary, because although they are very upset by this verdict, they cannot criticize the law, they cannot criticize the jury, of course, but what they can do is put increasing pressure on themselves and indeed on the judicial system in a rather vague way. So listen to what Eric Holder, the Attorney General, had to say just a few minutes ago.
I believe that this tragedy provides yet another opportunity for our nation to speak honestly about the complicated and emotionally charged issues that this case has raised. We must not, as we have too often in the past, let this opportunity pass.
And crucially, what he did not say, John, is that they will not file federal hate charges against George Zimmerman. Why? Because the same reasons why he was acquitted in a Florida court of law, because this is a case that is very long on outrage but short on evidence, are the reasons why probably this will not stick when it comes to federal hate crime charges, and the administration does not want to be associated with a case that it will fail.
Well, Matt, this stand your ground law, which is at the very heart of this matter, I mean, just explain what the problem is.
It's an extraordinary law, John, that almost kind of hails from a distant era of kind of Wild West machism. It effectively means that if someone attacks you and you have to defend yourself, you are allowed to use lethal force even if you have the chance of backing away, because ceding ground, even the ground of a pavement or a street, is somehow to give in to the humiliation of another person's attack. So it's permissible to use lethal force. The police, if they deem this to have been the case, are not even allowed to arrest you, which is why Zimmerman wasn't arrested in the first place after the killing last year. Now, this law was enacted in Florida in 2005, and you may think that Florida is a bit of an exception, but it isn't. 20 other states have adopted the law since then. And guess who tabled the law, or sponsored it rather, in the first place? Our friends, the NRA, because this law is all about not just self-protection and self-defense, it is also about the power of the gun. And that means that the gun, John, has had a very good year in America, even if a lot of other people haven't.